I'm Dr. Stacia B. Hunter, your facilitator for this event. Words cannot express our gratitude and generosity in hosting this kitchen table conversation at a time when many Jacksonians are feeling isolated, and you having a willingness at this moment to open up your home is absolutely inspiring.
Thank you.
These conversations go beyond discussing local issues. They revive genuine human connection, and your home becomes a space where people can listen, share, work together for a greater future for Jackson. And so with that being said, I want to introduce to you Mr. Tim Henderson.
Thank you, Dr. Hunter. Let me say thank you. This is the first of its kind in the city. It is very important to me that my campaign from the beginning has really been, and it still is, about giving you, the people, your voice back. In order for you to have a voice, you've got to know that I'm listening.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I'm not just sitting in the office. I wanted to do this. It was the recommendation of Josetta, who came to me and said, hey, I think you have a message that people need to hear, and you need to hear the people. And so I want to thank you again for opening up your home. This is the first. We're going to do some more of these.
Okay.
And today, I just like us to, I'm here. I share my vision for the city and what my goals and objectives are. I want you to hear not just my voice, but hear my heart. And as we go forward, I'd like it to be just some open discussion, some open dialogue. Don't pay attention to the cameras or any of that. I'd like us to have a real conversation about what you all see in the city, what you believe the issues are. And for a lot of those issues, I've begun to think through how we solve those issues. And so I'm willing to share where we are today on the campaign. So I am a candidate for mayor. I'm Tim Henderson. I started this journey officially back in May. And so I have an office in the Medical Mall, and the Medical Mall office has been very important. People come through and talk to me every day. If not every day, almost every day, about the things that they're experiencing, the challenges that they're seeing. And so a lot of things I've been made aware of. My background, I'm a prior Air Force Lieutenant Colonel. I'm retired. I'm currently a consultant in the space industry. And people have asked me, what sets you apart from the other candidates? I don't know that there's another candidate that has regularly managed budgets in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So throughout my Air Force career, and even now, I still have a full-time job, even though I'm running for mayor. As a mayor, I won't have that job. Let me be clear on that. But right now, I am working. So I'm not coming here looking for a job. I got one.
Okay.
And the experience that I have, like I said, I don't know that there's another candidate that has managed budgets in the hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know that there's another candidate that has led large organizations, right, with multiple missions, multiple things that people are doing, just like the city. So people ask me, am I afraid to go do this? I say, no, this is just kind of what I was born to do and how I'm built right about now at this point in my life. I understand we have some challenges. Those challenges don't go away overnight because they didn't show up overnight. But as a leader, you've got to have a plan. And so I am drafting my Jackson 2035. That's a 10-year plan with a vision for how we fix what's going on in the city and how we move the city forward. People have asked me, what do I want out of this? Can I be honest?
Yes.
I don't want nothing. The only thing I want is for life to be better for the people that I serve.
Yeah.
We've got to get leadership that's elected back to serving the people and not themselves.
Right.
Now every time I say that, folk get mad. But that means there's a bunch of folk out here that know that y'all gonna start waking up and you're gonna start asking different questions and you're gonna start demanding better.
Right.
You can have better.
Yeah.
You've got to start demanding it. And so as your future leader, if you elect me and I earn your vote as mayor, you will always have the opportunity to see me, talk to me, and I'll be back here. You hear me?
Yeah.
Because we're going to keep these round tables going.
Okay.
You can't lead people if you don't know what's going on with them. Did I say something?
And please come through my neighborhood. I can show you my problem in my
We
neighborhood.
we y'all got that? I'm coming.
Yes.
I'm gonna come through your neighborhood. Let me know if you want to grab some of your neighbors on your street.
Right. We got one guy.
And I'll walk with you.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So my vision in 2035 deals with my number one priority is public safety. That's fire and police. Police and fire. Public safety. A lot of cuts are being made that people aren't aware of. And I am investigating and looking into that now. Not being in the seat, folks ain't gonna give you everything you need to know.
Right.
But you need to know what the priorities are. My priority number one is public safety. You need to be able to feel safe in your homes again.
Exactly. That's what I was just telling Josetta
Yes, ma'am.
about this area. You know, I moved here from Pearl, and everybody was so uproared about why would I want to come back to Jackson, but I'm born and raised here in Jackson, and I would love to see the city, you know, come back up. And but our biggest concern is safety and being secure in your home. Because since before I moved to Pearl, I had a car that was stolen from me, like crime and stuff, and it's really bad. But that's why I was trying to see if we could get some more help with more police present around, you know, certain neighborhoods where you have these high crime and stuff. You don't really see them. So if we could get them to kind of patrol a little bit more, it would help everybody kind of feel safe.
That is something that's been identified.
Mm-hmm.
I've driven through the city and gone for hours and not see
Right.
orange and white cruiser.
Right.
Um,
I never see them over here.
Need more of the county guys gonna walk.
Yeah.
They seem to behave themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. So more of a presence out in the community. So public safety is at the top of my list. It really is. I've got a group of grandmamas that be in the medical mall, and some mornings they walk. And so I usually catch them. One of the grandmamas made me some tea cakes. I'm just gonna put that out. But I talk to them. And one of the things I ask them is, you know, the police can't be everywhere all the time, but we should be doing what we can to be there as much as we can.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, Grandmama, do you have a gun? She said, yeah, baby, I keep mine on me. I said, so one of the things you're going to see is I'm going to be working to try to get grant money to get people trained.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So one of these folk that don't want to act right and then just bent on making a bad decision, you need to be able to protect yourself.
Exactly.
And you don't need to be afraid to protect yourself.
Right.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
So the police more presence, and we're going to get folks to a point where they're trained to be able to protect themselves.
Yeah.
When I was working at Jackson State, there were some things that happened in this city that really disturbed me. Old gentlemen, these are things that are just stamped on my brain. I'm working in his yard and some young guy just come up and kill him. Take his wallet. I see you, Mama. You remember that? I remember.
I remember me. I have called the police on people, and the police come to my house, and I'm telling the police what kind of car they got it and everything. And it was a target on my back. I had to move out of Jackson, move out of my own home.
Wait,
I used
what?
to have with the police telling them. I had to move out of my own home that I was planning on waiting on Jesus to come and get me. I had to move out of my own home. I used to call the police and tell them, look, somebody over here jumping, somebody breaking in the house, and this they tag number, this color they have on, and all this here. Police come knocking on my door. Everybody know that if I see something, I'm gonna say something. And I said, for no, they say you see something, say something. No, I said see something, keep your mouth closed, because the police have came to my house many times. So I had to end up moving out of my house because late at night they get to shooting. I had to sleep on my floor, even though I would have guns in every last one of my rooms. And I'm not afraid to use it, because my cousin taught me how to use it. Damn.
All right.
I would go out there and walk the street picking up paper myself. People would ask me, why are you doing this here? I said, because I live here. This is my neighborhood. This is my home. I work, toss and turn to pay for it. But eventually, I had to leave my own home for my own safety and move with my daughter.
So one of the things that I've heard that, and now to look you in the face and to see the pain of you not being able to really fully enjoy what you work for.
Right.
One of the things that I've been talking to people about is an anonymous complaint system. And folks have asked me, well, we call in now and make complaints, but nothing happens. I said, well, when the mayor is asking, let me see the complaints that came in yesterday and how do we go out and answer those and how do we respond, then that's a different conversation, ain't it?
That's right.
That's a different conversation. Whether it's public works, whether it's, folks calling in that there's issues in the neighborhood,
Right.
it shouldn't be a question. If a citizen calls in and says somebody's breaking in a house or somebody's shooting on my street, you should never be afraid. You should be protected at that point. We have a responsibility to protect you. Is that right?
That's right.
Now, I'm a law and order kind of guy. Now, we ain't going to have folks scared in their own house.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
That's fair, but
Okay. Now, I mean, but people need to hear this, right?
Yeah.
People don't believe this is true.
yeah, who can you go to? You know, you think the police, we put them there, but call them, they never come. 30 minutes later, everything is over with now.
And I say this, being a victim of being stalked and having it on video, the police see it. I was told I put a no trespassing sign in my yard because I done showed them the camera. People taking videos of my house. My cameras got them on camera taking pictures of my house. They done recruited the men, they done recruited the women, they in different trucks, they in different cars. It's on camera. They see it. Who gets punished?
You do.
Me.
You do.
And I'm told I can't shoot them. I'm told they gotta come inside my house, not at my door. I called and I said, they are going up and down the streets. They riding by, no lights on. I'm looking at the camera. They slowing down. They doing all of it. So this is at 10. By 12:30, they done got in my garbage. Now that you hear me, I'm gonna call the police. Now you hear me cussing them. Now you want to hurry up. Warning you, don't come in my yard. With that said, I was told to take the sign down because the other homeowner said that sign was a nuisance. Where are my rights? I done showed y'all I'm being stalked. It's recorded. Y'all see the camera. So it's things like that. It's like,
So you want more police present in your neighborhood? What are you asking for?
it's one of those where even if you have protection, you don't feel like you're being taken seriously. It's not being taken seriously. And it's like, if you're being stalked, that plays on your mental.
Yeah.
You don't even, it
And
goes
see,
deeper
I
than
understand where
that.
you're coming from because you're a single woman. You by yourself. I'm in the same position. And when stuff happens, you want somebody to look into it. So.
Yeah, you would not want to be considered, because what I was told was when they saw the guy in the garbage, this particular one happened to be of a whole different race and XYZ. I'm told he the dumpster diver. I don't care. You were able to know who he is. I don't know him. And I am being stalked, and y'all know I'm being stalked. So I'm not going to treat him no differently than somebody else coming to harm me. Because he shouldn't have been in my garbage. I don't know him, and I'm being stalked. So you don't take my complaint seriously. And then if I do a complaint, now when I drive, you going to stop me and pull me over and harass me and things like that.
So what I'm hearing is there needs to be services in the city and we need to be linked. And this is a good example of, it's a bad example, but a good example to show how the city needs to be partnering, have strong partnerships with folks like the domestic violence entity, the Mississippi
Right.
Domestic Violence folks.
Right.
I used to know, I don't know if she's still the executive director, but somebody I know personally used to be the executive director. And we would have these conversations, but this gets into that conversation of the city doesn't have all the resources it needs to do everything. So the question becomes, how do we become smarter about utilizing the resources that are available to take care of the people?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about just before you got here. How we was talking about the surrounding cities, Pearl, Brandon, Flowood. You know, you go over there in the area, it's nice, it's clean and stuff. And I was just telling them, it's not that people don't litter and throw stuff out over there. They do. But the city, they have resources. They use the inmates to go out and clean it up. I don't think Jackson has a system or something in place where they can help clean up the streets like they do over in the other county.
So I have a close, I call her a friend. She's more than just an advisor who used to be in law enforcement in Jackson. She's retired. But she and I have talked about that.
Yeah, because that's our tax dollars.
Yes.
You know.
So there's got to be a relationship.
Right.
And the relationship really has to be strengthened between the city and the county. Right? We've got to, one of the things I know I've got to do, amongst a lot of other things, we got to build bridges again. We got to build bridges at the city level. You got to build bridges.
And see, it's so, when I moved to Pearl, it's kind of embarrassing how the city leaders can't cooperate to get the job done for the people. You know, they at each other, they so for at each other's throat, where, you know, we really don't have anybody to lead. We need, like, you coming in, new people, new leadership to, you know, kind of bring Jackson back.
And folks have asked me the question, how do you deal with an environment where it just seems like folks can't work together? I say, well, I've been in those before, right?
Yeah.
So what you do is you have these conversations before you get in front of the people. We need to be grown-ups about what we're going to go do.
Yes.
And when you get in front of the people that we don't agree with, we don't bring that out.
Right.
You deal with what you agree on. You give the people an insight into, you've got to show unity.
Right.
You gotta show some unity in order to move the city forward.
Right.
Now I'll be honest. Can I be honest with y'all?
Please.
I don't do no whole lot of fighting and arguing. I don't do that. I don't do that.
Right.
I like to go find me something hot to eat and cold to drink. So I ain't
Right.
finna entertain a whole lot of foolishness.
Right. And
All
see,
right?
that's what we need.
And so it's okay if we don't agree. I think we're in an environment where folks just feel like they gotta have their way. And folks throw these temper tantrums. I don't do that well. I got 2 daughters and they'll tell you, no, he ain't finna play that game.
Yeah.
I'll do anything for you. But let's be grown-ups. Let's be
That's
adults about it.
Right.
Because the people are sick and tired
That's
of
right.
seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
And when I say it's time for a change, you need leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership acknowledges that we ain't gonna agree on everything. Leadership acknowledges we're gonna have different points of view. But the question I always come back to, this is why I said I don't want nothing.
Right.
I'm fighting for the people. What's in the best interest of the people?
And that's how it should be, because that's why you're in that role.
That's why you're in that role. And the people have to start demanding
Yeah.
that folks who've been around all this time, what have you done for me lately?
Right.
What have you done? Put it on paper.
Yeah.
I tell people have said, well, you've never been a mayor. Okay, count me some folk that have. I said, but look at my experience and look at my background and then determine whether or not I've got the experience to do what the city needs.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do in this election. Who's got the experience? I don't care what their background is. Who's got the experience that can come in, put some discipline in place,
Yes.
stabilize things where we are.
That's right.
Figure out, in the medical community, they call it triaging. What can we get done? What's most critical right now? How do we make sure city services are still being put in place for the people? And then what's the plan going forward?
Right.
How do we come up with a get well plan for the city?
Yeah.
Huh?
That way you can get more people to try to come back into the city, bring in more funding, but nobody wants to come because of the...
You got crime. We're going to deal with crime. I know that is at the top of the list, even though everybody going to say that. But what's your plan for dealing with it?
Right.
Right? And let me talk about that.
Yeah, like, what's your plan for dealing with crime?
So I'm a hammer guy now. I ain't going to play these games with folk making bad decisions. And I need to say this. I've had people come to me, all these folks who think they smart, who have some smarts. I won't say think they're smart, but people with these different perspectives. People are poor, they don't have jobs, I get all that. They quickly realize that I'm not that guy to say that to. I grew up poor. My mom and daddy came off plantation. Neither one of them had a college degree. My dad at 3rd grade, my mom at 12th grade. Don't give me excuses for bad decisions. I understand that people are in poverty. I understand you need jobs. I understand we need to make those other investments in young people. I get that. But you got to deal with the problem that's in front of you, and that is people are making bad decisions.
Right.
So I got that hammer now. But I also believe in our young folks. I believe in putting some honey on the front end of that. You're going to see my priority under public safety. You're going to see me talk about investment in our youth.
Right.
We've got to invest in them as a part of a public safety paradigm.
Right.
The two most vulnerable entities in our society, two most vulnerable groups are young people and our elderly. You're going to see them get dropped under public safety when I'm looking at making public safety a priority. Because I need to make sure those two groups of people, one, ain't afraid, on the elderly side, our seniors, and two, for our young people, they can see a future. There are people in this city that I've met with, I've gone down, I've seen, there are people doing work. They're already doing the work with our young people. How do we make sure those people know that the city supports the work that they're doing?
Oh, right.
How do we expand those kind of opportunities for our young people?
Yeah.
We got to get back to investing in our parks and recs and get some youth programming back in place. Right? We can spend money on a lot of different places and still do nothing.
Right.
So you spend your money where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck in a long-term investment.
Right.
You got short-term. So under public safety, you're going to hear me talk about the rule of law. We're going to deal with folks in their bad decisions. We ain't going to, listen, we're going to smoke them out their hole. That's a military term. Somebody letting them lay down on their couch. Somebody feeding them.
Yeah.
Folk out here acting up. Now we're going to expand the police force and we're going to have folk out here knocking on doors all around the clock. Wake everybody up.
Yeah.
And at that, I'm coming now. I want them to know I'm coming. You need to know what you're going to get. So when folk go to complaining about these roadblocks, when folks go to complaining about the fact that folk knocking on doors all the times of the night,
I'm down with
and so we are not going to play this game. So I bring that as a military mindset now. We need to make sure folks are safe. So I have zero, all these folk complaining and we gonna sue, y'all go ahead and get yourself together. Cause you just need to line up, get in line, cause I ain't scared.
Yeah.
I'm unafraid and unapologetic when it comes to taking care of the people. Is that fair?
That's fair.
And then investing in our young people, making sure that they know they can see a future.
Yeah.
Once you get this crime down and people know it's safe, and then once you clean the city, start mowing, making sure people feel pride in their community again, pride in their neighborhood again, but the city has to start that. So when you see me out there in that orange vest now, don't y'all laugh at me. You gonna be out there with me?
I'll be out there
That's
with
all we
them. I
need.
don't mind. I don't mind.
And we're gonna start tackling this thing. You know, we got a big old city.
We get some volunteers.
And so you get folk out here and say, hey, y'all, the mayor gonna be in such and such neighborhood, and you know, if it's Presidential Hills or South Jackson or Woodley or Brooklyn or over here in Clinton, Book, We're going to go wherever we need to go and say, where we going? And we're going to ask folks to meet us.
Right.
And we can do this. Ain't nobody come to save us.
Yeah. Right.
We got enough smart folk in our community, and we got enough folk willing to go to work. Them the people I'm looking for. All these folk naysaying and complaining, y'all sit over here to the side.
Yeah.
I want the folk that's ready to go to work and make Jackson better.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
It's fair. It's something that both the Mindy, what you said, as well as Mr. Henderson, what you just said when you said showing the young people that they have a future. And I always say, we always during Christmas time, you know, want to do the toys for tots and want to buy children toys, but you have children like when I was like 4 or 5, I did not want to play with a baby doll. I wanted to go get the money. I need somebody to show me where the money is. So when you say, Mr. Henderson, that, hey, I'm trying to bring it where I'm showing the children that they can have a future. And that means that, okay, you're going to be showing us like, okay, I can't be that doctor. I can't be that lawyer by showing us what these programs and stuff are.
Yeah.
So that's definitely
Like
important.
teaching them, I would say, on their note, like teaching them skills. We got some of these teenagers walking around here that's been out of school for years. And I think Judge Settlement, like, they're not even interested in coming back because they so far behind. We need to implement some type of program to get them some type of skill where they used to have it at CDC, where they could teach them carpentry, welding, doing electrical work, you know, things like that if they're not interested in going back to high school. And then once they come out of that program, they can, you know, come back into the community and use those skills to kind of help build up some of these, you know, houses and, you know, get them jobs and kind of keep them out of trouble.
I've been down to the CDC.
Okay.
And I met with them. Even talked to one of their classes. Went to the last graduation a few months ago. I just walked in and sat in the room. That program and programs like that are very important to this city.
Yeah.
And we'll deal with education on another realm, but
Yeah.
everybody is not going to go to college.
Right.
Everybody's not meant to go to the military.
Right.
But I believe everybody can be productive in society.
Right.
I just believe that. And so it's interesting you bring up the CDC.
Yeah, well,
I've been down there and sat with them and talked through all that because honestly, I'm out trying to understand what's already there. And if it's working,
keep it in place.
keep it in place. That's the kind of, those are the teaming arrangements and agreements you get at the city level. Hey, look, we got a workforce development effort that's coming down. There's a grant. How many students can y'all run through here in the next 12 months? How many young folks can y'all get off the street and run through here?
Exactly right.
Some folks are just first-time offenders. Some of these 14-year-olds out here doing stuff.
Yes.
Some of these 15-year-olds. Now, I'm gonna have some conversations about these parents too now. Now, we ain't gonna just let the parent off the hook and I deal with the child. Because you gotta deal with the community piece. And so you got people out here that's willing to invest. But mama, you ain't gonna keep giving me the excuses about what you didn't get. Well, we need you to do something. Is that fair?
That's fair.
See, y'all got me sitting in this place talking.
That's fair.
These folks about to find out who I am.
That's fair. That's fair. It starts at home.
This starts at home. We make excuses for stuff that we should never accept.
That's right.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Y'all don't put that on no t-shirt now. You make excuses.
Nah, you can't have it. We gonna can
You
it.
don't care now? So help me understand something. I know we've talked about a lot of challenges and see what kind of time. What is it that gives you joy about the city? What makes you happy, or what do you envision when you think about what the future could be that brought you back, that has caused y'all to stay? What is it? Help me understand. I know why I'm here, but I like to hear people talk.
Like she said, I was born and raised here, and I love this place. And we get the right peoples in these seats. It could be better. It can be better.
I would like to come back to my home. I
Yeah.
had modeled, spent my whole retirement money fixing up my home, and then turn around and had to leave it.
You didn't say it.
I set my home up, set everything up, but I had to leave my home because of the shoot and me calling the police and the police knocking at my door said which way they go. I'm telling you which way they went.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what kind of clothes they had on, what kind of car and everything they got on. Every time I call, I'm saying, what? Well, okay, yeah, you want me to tell them? Let me go out the street. Oh, they went that way. Since everybody's in the neighborhood, some of the, what you call them, those boys?
Dope boys.
Their parents had left and died and left them at home. And so they moved into the neighborhood, grandma's house and stuff like that. So they moved in and started having trap house. I learned that on grand jury.
Trap house.
Yeah, I learned that on grand jury. I like to be educated. And so, and when I'm saying this is how I see it, this how you know. Because I see them going over there. I get out in my yard, walk the neighborhood and pick up paper and make sure my yard and stuff clean. And I be watching. Once I get from church, I'm peeping out the window. I'm sorry. But I be peeping out the window when I hear somebody over there. What they doing over there? They don't supposed to be over there. And they out there doing their own
Give me
business.
some paper towel, isn't it?
They out there selling right out in front of me. And I tell the whole neighbor about it. And they tell me that's none of my business. I live here. This is my house. This is my
Mind your
community.
business.
They tell me I need to mind my business.
Thank you.
That is my business because this is my neighborhood. I call the police. Like I said, the police come knocking on my door. And you know, putting a target on my back.
Okay, you just can't trust them, but you should be able to trust them.
Right, exactly.
Because I had that same problem living in a house. And the dope boy is a house, empty house between us. They would bring their drugs and stick it up under the house. And I had a little dog, and the dog would go in there and pull the drug out. So they got tired of my little dog and killed and told me, ma'am, they're your dog. I'm like, really? I called the police. He comes out and he go to laughing. Well, this lady right here called and said, you selling drugs and you dealing drugs? I'm like, really? This
So
is my life.
what can we do about these empty homes, these vacant homes with these?
Dilapidated properties.
Yeah.
So I have had some conversations with several other council persons. Excuse me. There's a lot of attention to that now, even at the state level. There's money out there to get rid of those houses. And let's talk about the dilapidated properties. And I know this is gonna come up because I've had
This was
people
one
say
of them,
something
to be
about it.
honest with you.
Come in.
This house. No, I'll tell him this is one of them.
And so the question becomes, how do you create opportunities for folks who want to own homes to own? Pastor Jesse Horton down in South Jackson off Cooper Road, he and I had a long conversation one day about this. And his congregation, his church, he said, Ms. Henderson, I've been trying to get some of these dilapidated houses on Cooper Road, but folk won't even work with me. I said, well, what would you do with them? He said, my church does renovations on these houses, and we offer them to single parent, single mothers. I went, what? He said, and all we do when we charge them rent, we just get out of the house what we put into it. He said, now you got a homeowner. So those kind of models I think can be put in place, but it's got to be that kind of an approach. We have, here's part of our issue in Jackson. I want to say, I saw a number here recently, that over 40% of the folk who live in Jackson are renters.
Yeah.
So how do you move from people renting to home ownership? Home ownership used to be the American dream.
Right.
Why? It gave you stability.
Right.
It brings a tax base into the city.
Yeah.
It generates taxes not just for the city but for the county. Right? And so when you've got all these vacant properties, these dilapidated properties, but dilapidated and blight, watch this. There are so many lots in this city that don't even have a house on it now that's overgrown. I own some lots that are overgrown. I bought them through the state. I went out there and I ain't gonna tell you how much I spent to try to clean these lots off, but when you start clearing it back, folks been dumping on these lots for years. And so I've had people come to me, well, you running for mayor and this code ordinance? I say, yeah. But I bought those lots like that. I didn't own them until now. And the money I'm spending to try to get them up to par. So how do you work across the city? When I personally have experienced that I walked into something and didn't know that it was all this stuff out here and it's still gonna cost me a few more $1,000 just to clean it up. There's some lots that the state owns. So you got to work with the state to get those lots taken care of. Those lots went to the state because somebody didn't pay their taxes for 3 years, didn't get auctioned, etc. That's how I bought the properties I got. For me, I'm having to clean my property off in phases. I did the first phase, cost me X amount of money. I talked to the guy just for the holidays. I got to save up to get the rest of the money to go clean it up, to really clean it off and make it look nice, because I want to do something with it.
Yeah.
And it's over in the sub where people have basically been forgotten about.
Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The sub is very historical. That's where black people lived when they couldn't live downtown and nowhere else. Now people that are from here know that, right?
Right.
So here's something else I learned about these blighted properties. In the mall, I've got a young lady and a young man that have come through there a few times. And I shared this with, what I'm sharing with you about my experience with the properties and what I'm about to share about people that are living in these houses. This young man and his wife, we're talking. I said, so what part of the city you live in? He said, I'm in Bandos. I'm scratching my head. Bandos. You know, you got all these different neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I'm like, what neighborhood is that? What is that? He said, Bandos. I said, man, where is that? I don't know what that is. He said, these abandoned houses.
Oh.
Now, since that time, I have learned that there are people that walk past you that don't look like these folk that you think are just regular homeless. So not only do you have the issue with the blight, what do you do when you start tearing those houses down and trying to clean up the neighborhood for folks who are living in those night after night, day after day? If they may be living in their car and then they drive up to one for one night and they go in there, light a fire. That's how some of them ended up burning up, because there's no way to put the fire out once they light a fire to try to stay warm. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. There are bigger issues that are under the cover.
Yeah.
We got to clean this city up.
You got to.
It's going to take we're going to have to be very smart about how we're going to do that. There are folks suffering in this city. I learned of some women staying in a hotel with children. Nowhere to go. Ain't no jobs here other than minimum wage.
Right.
Ain't nobody trying to help folk really move forward.
No.
So the problems and the challenges that we have, there's a solution to every challenge. We just got to be smart about what we do and make sure we know what problem we're trying to solve. That makes sense?
Yeah. Still holding some of these city leaders accountable for.
And some of these landowners own this stuff and they ain't been back. So I like to see a land. They done moved out, don't care, they ain't coming back. And so we can go.
Yeah.
We're going to go after these folks and tell them, that, you know, hey, you got 12 months to clean this property up. I'm going to give them 12 months. Because I'm going to be fair, because I'm like, well, folk ain't got that kind of money.
Right.
12 months, or you come in and have a conversation with the city about the city taking the property, or we end up working with some folk that can come in and help revitalize these communities, either build, you know, there's money out here now for urban gardens.
Yeah.
We can work with the USDA. We used to have a garden growing up. All this stuff, folks talking about green space, you don't need a park everywhere. Put some gardens out here and let the community come out here and grow their own food. You know how eggs and milk is in the store now?
Oh, yeah.
You can't hardly find a bunch of collard greens worth nothing now. I like a good pot of collards, but anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
So there's some opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
We definitely need that.
Would you grow some collard greens in your neighborhood?
I love growing.
Do you? You already growing?
I love it. I was brought up, my mom and them did all of that.
And so blight in the community doesn't have to be blight. Let's figure out how to get some folk. There are some folk that are willing, I believe, to volunteer to clean off some of these lots that don't have a house on it. And you begin to open up that space, and you can plant some gardens and get some loans. I got a good friend who works with the USDA. He said, look, there's money for urban gardening now. You can go out here and get money to do that kind of work, but you got to have people that are knowledgeable and people that want to go do that. And then you make these grants available to the people in the city. Is that fair?
That's fair.
And now you can grow your own sweet potatoes and butter beans and crowder peas. And that's you. See, I'm talking like that because we had a garden too growing up. You ain't scared? Now I'm gonna hold you to that. What else though? What else concerns y'all? We got a few more minutes. I really do appreciate this. I'm hoping that the people that see this live can go, I can resonate with that. Is there something you want me to do that you ain't talked about? First of all, do you think I might be okay as the mayor?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna ask that question online. You tell me what you think.
Well, I hear you speaking, but we definitely need a good mayor. Not this one that he wants to see. Please stand with us when we come to you and ask you about these problems we have. The street is falling in. If somebody come in there and put one of them iron things there, because somebody's going to get hurt. The water is leaking up by the church. It's constantly running, and it runs down in my yard.
It's a
It's
water
a water
leak?
hole. Yeah, it's a big one.
Have you called Jackson Water on
We
that?
done called everyone.
I need to come to your community.
You really need to
Okay.
use this.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
Don't be scared now.
Oh,
And
I'm
don't be
not
acting like you ain't gonna answer the phone.
I am. Hey, I will walk you down the street around it.
Okay. No, I am. I've had town halls, and I know a lot of people may or may not have heard about who is this guy Henderson. The reason for those town halls was this, so that you could come out, meet me, I could meet you. And that's why these kitchen round tables are so you can meet me, I can meet you, you can ask what you want to ask, we can have a real conversation. I have told folks, and I will, after I'm elected mayor, we're going to still have some town halls.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Every quarter, you're going to get a town hall. Give me 6 months once I'm elected. But after that, I need an opportunity to get in, see what's there, what's not there, and come back and show y'all.
Yeah.
Print out the budget.
Yeah.
Put it out there so you know what money is being spent.
Right.
And you can ask a question. You ain't got to agree with everything I do, but you still can ask the question. Hey, I don't know if I like that you did that. Why'd you do that? Well, here's why.
Right.
And I think that that's fair. It's your tax dollars. And you're a citizen, and you need your voice to be heard, and you need to know that you matter. Did I say something then?
That's what I'm talking about.
You need to know that you matter.
Now, another thing would be making sure that the people actually know what resources are available.
Yes.
You know, a lot of things are put online, and a lot of the elderly people don't even have access to Wi-Fi because they're not familiar with Wi-Fi. You know, so making sure the people are knowledgeable about the resources that are out there would be a really good
Yeah,
thing.
they have them. Right.
You know, I had a call yesterday morning. At first, I didn't understand what the guy was asking. He said, hey, what are you going to, I forget how he put it, but basically he was asking, what's your plan for the seniors in the community and in the city, the age programs? And I talked to him about that being one of my priorities. It stacks. If you go out on my website, I talk about wanting to make sure that the seniors and the aged in the community know that they're still valued. Young folk and elderly are as a part of that public safety, in that first number one, they fall in that.
Yeah.
And so the community centers, the day centers, making sure that we have canvassed our neighborhoods and understand what resources are needed for our seniors. The day centers is one thing. It's another thing for the seniors to know, hey, I don't have to go downtown and try to figure out where to pay a bill or to talk to somebody. There are offices in the Jackson Medical Mall that the new mayor, Henderson, when we elected him, he said he was going to do that, and he put this office, and this office in the medical mall. You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
And I think we've got to get to where we understand what the people need. as a public servant, you ain't serving nobody if you don't understand what the people need. You serving yourself, and you serving folk who giving you money.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's right.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, you know what I tell folk? The people with money ain't got but one vote. The people who really need the help is where the vote is at.
Right.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Now the question is are people gonna come out to vote? Are you hurting bad enough now to really want to change? Or are folks gonna complain and then get what you done always got?
Yeah.
Just complain and do nothing about it.
It's gonna be the biggest challenge getting folks out to vote because so many people have just given up on our city leadership because of the bigger and back and forth, you know. So they don't want to come out and support, you know, that. So it's gonna be real hard to get people out to vote. And you have to put some type of message out there to change their mindset and let them know that there's, that
Well, you know what the message is?
what's that?
What you all have been sitting here talking about today.
Oh yeah.
People have to see themselves as a part of the solution and a part of how to get things better. And I do appreciate you all allowing me to come into your home. This is, I know how I feel about my personal space. And you've allowed all of Jackson into your home at this point. Everybody that's dialed into this Facebook Live. And then you're making yourselves available to be a part of the solution. I just wonder how many folks are going to see this and go, I dealt with the same thing. I just want to earn your vote.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to give me your vote. I'm an unknown entity. I mean, people know me now,
Yeah.
but I'm not into the cliques and folks that I owe.
Okay.
I owe you.
That's right.
Is that fair?
So you work for the people.
I work for the people.
That's
Mama,
what we need.
And we're gonna give you that challenge to work. You need that, you in that seat.
all right, I tell you what, I ain't got one request then if you gonna challenge me. I just want some collard greens.
Done deal.
Okay, Lord. I do appreciate this. This has been great. Being able to just sit. I mean, I'm just a normal guy now. You believe that? I'm normal. I'm a normal dude. I'm just blessed. God has given me some different opportunities, but I never want to walk away from who I am. I'm always be who I am. I can talk about spicy hog head sauce with some saltine crackers and a cold Pepsi or RC.
Okay.
Or I can go over here and talk about policy. Huh?
Yeah.
Before I came here, I was talking about some multi-million-dollar programs on my regular job. And now here it is, an hour later, I'm talking about hog head sauce. But you all are important to me as the people. And I want you all to promise me something. If you will support me as mayor, don't let me down after I'm mayor.
Oh yeah, we got you.
Stay with me. Help me make Jackson better. In your communities, on your street, let me know. Don't be afraid. Constituent services is going to be structured different. I'm going to be checking to see what calls have come in. Just like I'm going to be checking to see what calls came in to the police. I'm going down to the command center almost every morning, if not every morning. I'm going to get a brief. I'm going to be standing there with the chief, and I want to know what went on the night before. And I'm going to leave there and go over to constituent services and say what came in yesterday. What's our status? And I want to run in law because I want to walk down through it and just pick a few things out. Why has this been sitting here 3 weeks? Did we not get back with Ms. Jones?
Right. Yeah. That's
Is
what
that
we
fair?
need. That's what we need.
That's what we need.
That's what exactly we need.
And folks say, well, you can't run the whole city. Well, I'm the mayor. I'm responsible for the whole city. At the end of the day, the buck stops with me. But as a leader, you need to know what's going on.
Right.
I ain't going to run every one of these 100 complaints. But when I look at that list and stuff been sitting out there, I want to know why. And at some point, my directors will understand, look, I don't want the boss coming in here asking me this. Let's get it
Just
fixed.
go and get it done.
That's it. Is that fair?
Oh, yeah.
That's all. Anything else? Oh, I appreciate y'all. I do. This has been great. What y'all think? I like this.
I enjoyed
It's
it.
been okay.
I enjoyed it.
Hey, y'all, I'm talking to other people off the camera.
Excellent.
It's been good.
Yes.
We gonna do more of these. I appreciate y'all,
We need
man.
more. We need more of these.
We do.
We need people to invite us in there.
Anybody out there in Facebook land, if you want to sit down and talk with me, let's have some real conversations around the table.
Right. Come on
You
in.
dig
Come
it?
on in.
Mm-hmm.
Come on in. Y'all invite me out and y'all grab some folk that want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And let me know. Thank you all very much. Thank y'all.
Yeah,
This has been great. I appreciate it. I guess I need to turn this off. It finished.